name is David Horton, and I was born in Morristown, Tennessee. And the first year I was a freshman in college, a film company from Michigan came down to shoot a horror movie in my hometown. And it turns out that the cabin that they used for it, my best friend's father was renting it at the time. So he got a hold of, got in touch with Gary Holt, or Gary Holt got in touch with him, and we got to use it. So part of the deal was my friend and I got to be fake Shemps. We got to be production assistants on the movie because we always wanted to be movie makers. Fake Shemps are Sam Raimi's way of saying cheap labor. It's essentially, we were production assistants on the show, and there were several of us on the movie, and there were several of us, and he ended up, the more you did, you could get credit in the movie, but instead of listing production assistants, because we did a little bit of everything. I mean, we did everything from, we were the foggers running around to make the fog, to we were the lighting, I worked on makeup, so we did a little bit of everything, so he just called us all fake Shemps. Most of the cast already left. Hal was still there, but all the ladies had left. Bruce was there, of course, till the very, very end. So right before Christmas, probably. So a lot of the cast had left, and they needed people to help out. They needed help with all kinds of stuff. I remember the very first night we shot that I was on set, I was helping them shoot the couch scene for Hal. And before that even, we were having dinner, and the makeup guy, Tom, we were eating chicken, and that's where he saw the chicken bone and went, you know, this would work. And I said, for what? Because I had not, at that point I had not read the script, I'm just helping. He said, well, let's go. So we went back, we were at the rental house, and we went to where the makeup area was, which is basically just part of the living room and this big table. And he ended up breaking it off, and we put latex on it, and I kept drying. He just said, keep drying this and put more layers. So I was layering latex, and that's what we ended up using for Scotty's arm that's broken. It's really just a piece of chicken from KFC. It's a bone, was his bone. Then we ran the tube up for from his mouth to his nose and put latex appliance over it so that he could do the whole death scene. And he would take a big drink of blood, and he would do the death, and he was literally pushing it in, blowing it into his nose so it would come out his nose. So improvising props. But yeah, so the very first night there, I'm doing makeup, we're filming a horror movie, there's blood, I'm loving this. This is great. Was never on film. I'm several tree branch shadows. Those would be me. I was rocking the car in the garage. We shot the car scenes in a garage that we totally covered in black plastic for when Bruce and Ellen are in the car. He's trying to drive to the bridge. But I got to rock the car. I was never on camera. So always behind the scenes. Barbara Carey. I was dating Barbara at the time. Well, and it was, again, it's that whole kind of photography that Sam was doing, which is beg, borrow, steal. We need this. We got to have it. What can we do? I've always said that, you know, the best movies are not made with $100 million budgets. They're made with like $20 million budgets where you have to be innovative and decide on stuff. But all the ladies had left, but Sam realized he still had like 4 or 5 shots to do that had to have a girl in them. And he basically was looking at all the guys and he goes, does anybody know any girls? And I said, well, I have a girlfriend. He said, okay, would she do it? And I said, I don't know, I can talk to her. So she did. I think she regretted it later because it was like 12 degrees and she's in that little white nightgown thing. But they ended up putting a Betsy latex mask on her. She did have to wear the contacts though a couple of times, and they were as painful as all the girls I've read about were talking about. They hurt. You could only leave them in for like 10, 15 minutes maybe. And naturally, to make them work, Sam is going, open your eyes, you know, because you're wanting to squint because they hurt and you're having to open them so wide. And she was always complaining about those. So, but yeah, she was in several sequences. She was in the whole grave sequence. So when Bruce pulls the girl outside, that's her doing the stunt double, and then burying her, that's her. Got to be her hand that scratched through Bruce's leg. which was another cool makeup idea, because literally we just ripped his pants leg and then we covered it in latex, but the latex looked fake and awful, so we covered it in mud. So it looked like he was, because he'd been digging anyway, so it's all muddy, and it was easy just for her to rip through the latex, and it looks like, and Bruce is literally standing there with a tube blowing Cairo down his leg to make it bleed when she's doing it. It was just such cool stuff. Sam was, I think, everything that people have said about him. He was the visionary. He's the one that had the idea. He's the one that was the driving force behind the whole project. He was the classic auteur kind of thing. And after like 2 or 3 days shooting, as we're standing around and doing stuff, we had mentioned, we started, my friend Wynn and I, we started filming when we were 10 years old, with our little wind-up brownie camera, Super 8 kind of thing. Well, 8mm at the time, and then Super 8. And we said, we have some old ones. He goes, hey, well, let's watch them. So in a couple of the downtimes at like 7 a.m. when we would get back to the rental house, we would end up going down in the basement and watching movies. He would show us shorts. Like he showed us, I think Clockwork was one, which was a kind of his attempt at like a slasher movie. It was a homeless guy terrorizing a girl, and it was so well shot and such cool angles. And I was going, okay, this is why he's doing this. But then we got to see Within the Woods, which was their fundraiser film. Essentially, they did the short version to raise money, and then so we got to show him all of our shorts. We showed him Days of Nights, which was a parody night story that we had done when we were kids, and all that. And it was so neat to see. I mean, I was at that time pre-internet, pre-cell phones, all of that. It was like, you mean there are other kids in other parts of the country that do this? And we were going, yeah. So we were like kindred spirits. I mean, one of my favorite moments of the shoot was we were in the shed. And he was doing intercuts of stuff. He was doing all the close-ups of Bruce with the chainsaw. But for some reason there was downtime, which was rare because we were always doing something. But there was downtime, and it was just Sam and I. And we were looking through the script, and he was like sketching his little stick figure storyboards and everything. But we just started talking about, why are you doing this? You're, at the time I think he was 21. Why are you wanting to come to the freezing woods of Tennessee and make a movie? And he was just, it's what he's always said. He said, it's what I've always done. It's what I always wanted to do. That Yankee accent, and I'm from the South here. But we had several moments of just talking and sharing, and it was really cool, feeling like we're kindred spirits. We both love film. We both want to make horror movies. We both want to make science fiction movies someday. We both want to be Steven Spielberg. But it was the first time he really wasn't that hyper, gotta go all the time, which is what he tried to be on set all the time. And it was like a relaxing moment for a second. And it was really one of my favorite memories with him. No, because none of those were filmed here. Basically, I was still in school, and then right after that, I took a job here locally as the community theater director. So I started directing, and that was a 24/7 for me here. So 2 and Army and all those. I kept in touch with Bruce mail-wise and email a few times. Sam a couple of times, and Bruce over the years a few times. But then nothing. I didn't even get a chance to go to the premiere, which was in town because I was working at the time. So, but yeah, I didn't work on any of the other ones. And Sam doesn't call me up and say, hey, what are you doing? Let's go make a movie. I don't know why. Yeah, I think it was after it came out, because when it came out, it burst pretty big, even around here in the woods of East Tennessee. The Stephen King quote on the poster didn't hurt at all. That was very, very good, actually, I think, for them. And then the movie itself just generated such a buzz because it was such a new avant-garde approach to doing a horror movie. The angles Sam picked and all the constant camera moves made it creepier and scarier and different and neat. And so it was big even around here. I love the fact that they love it so much, that they enjoy it, that all of us literally getting splinters and freezing and burying lights in the ground to make it look like an evil force coming out of it, thrills them and scares them and makes them happy. It's part of filmmaking is, hopefully transporting them and making people love what they have on screen. So yeah, it's great.